9:31, Big 550 KTRS. David Hunn is with us, St. Louis Post-Dispatch reporter who is covering the Edward Jones Dome, been on the show numerous times, friend of the show. All right, so you had a point that you were making, which you've completely forgotten because we were talking about.
No, I remember. So here's what we were talking about. We were talking about that land on the riverfront and redeveloping that land.
Right.
So, it is a hodgepodge of empty lots and abandoned warehouses.
Yes.
With, I can think of 3 or 4 existing businesses. By the way, great people. I mean, I went down and talked to every single one of those guys. They are, I hope that they are treated well in this process because they are good people who have worked hard who have stayed when the rest of the world left. And have worked hard to stay.
Right.
It has not been an easy job.
Right.
So in any case, that land, this is very interesting because the city is putting together this land. The city, that's not true. The Dome Authority is paying the Downtown Partnership, which is now called Downtown STL, I think.
Right.
To put together this land.
Right.
And then they're doing it, and I understand that they're having quite some success. Let's say for a second that the new stadium doesn't get built.
Okay.
The city or whoever, the Dome Authority, will still have that land. Moreover, it will be completely quote unquote entitled, which means they'll have the rights to build on it. Right. So in some ways, no matter, if you look at this from a little Pollyanna, but all positive, glass half full, right? The city wins no matter what. They just put all of this land together, and it is now primed for redevelopment.
Right on the riverfront.
Right on the riverfront.
Right next to a giant convention center.
So
right next to a beautiful Laclede Landing. Right next to a $400 million redone arch.
Bang. Now, again, let's think about priorities in the city for a second, right? Best case scenario, the North Riverfront, prime riverfront real estate gets redeveloped, spurs new development perhaps, and the Dome gets refurbished into a purely convention center,
right?
And in Final Four, and that kind of thing, right? So that's best case scenario for the city. If you're a city official, that is the best case scenario,
right?
Worst case scenario, the Rams stay and don't move out of the Dome. But
that's not going to happen, though.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
But what's interesting about that is, I think what you realize is from city officials' perspectives, it's actually better for the Rams to leave and open up the Dome,
right,
for
conventions long term, right? Because the schedule just came out for this year, so they can't book conventions during the entire football season through January because they might be in the playoffs. Even though they haven't been, you have to account for that.
Yeah. Now I don't know that firsthand. I have not looked into that issue. It's on my list of things to do.
Right.
But Kitty Ratcliffe, the president or executive director of the Convention and Visitors Bureau. Right. That's not the right name. Sorry, Kitty. And Jeff Rainford, the former chief of staff to Mayor Slay, have said for 2 years that it is killing their convention business to have the Rams taking up all those weekends in the fall.
Somebody high up who I very much respect in all of this said to me that Stan Kroenke is a commercial developer. And that Stan Kroenke owns the Arsenal soccer team, but he also owns the building and the land around it. He owns the Nuggets and the Avalanche. He owns the Pepsi Center and the land around it, and he develops. That's what he does.
Yeah.
So he has no desire to pay $200 million, $300 million, $400 million for half of a stadium in which he doesn't own on the banks of the Mississippi River. But as a home run, last chance, Hail Mary pass, if you will, tell Kroenke, we'll give you the Bottle Works district, which no one's ever doing anything with, and we'll give you this land next to the Dome. You develop it any way you want. We'll figure out the roads and change the exits and whatever else. But you take the land, you redevelop it, you own it.
Yeah, I think all of that stuff has. I think there's legitimate interest in a variety of possibilities going forward. What if Kroenke can become a developer of that land? What if I think it's very clear at this point, though Kroenke has not exactly said it. That he indeed wants to move the Rams, right? We know that for sure now. Right. And he wants a stadium in Los Angeles that he can develop. He wants the redevelopment around it. He wants to do just like he did in Denver and in other places, right? That's clear. That's fine. But the Raiders don't have any of that. The Chargers don't have much of that.
Right.
there are other teams out there that maybe would like this deal that Nixon's presenting.
Right.
So,
but no one's reared their head.
Nope.
It's not Jacksonville.
Nope.
And it's not Buffalo.
I've asked that question 100 million times about Jacksonville, about Raiders, about everybody. Nobody will go on the record and talk about that.
Yeah.
And
even with Mark Lamping being the president of the Jacksonville Jaguars, but they've got a long-term lease.
Yeah.
And so, all right. David Hunt, always a pleasure. You're always welcome here. Great job. Great legwork. And it should be noted that this story about $800,000 would not come to light unless you and your newspaper did the research. So thank you for that.
Yeah, check it out. Still online.
Have a good weekend.
Thank you, sir.
David Hunt at STLTODAY.com and that newspaper that gets delivered right to your front doorstep. 937 Big 550 KTRS.